Okay. Good evening and welcome everyone to the Bowie, Mitchellville, and Vicinity Community Chat for Public Facilities. My name is Thomas Lester with the Prince George's County Planning Department, Long Range Planning Section, and I'm the project manager for this master plan. First, I'd like to say before we begin that the presentation and Q&A will be recorded and posted online. A copy of the PowerPoint will also be posted on our website for download. We ask that during the presentation, you keep your microphone muted and your camera off until called upon. However, you may ask questions and provide comments using the chat box. Please be polite in your questions and your comments. Now let's introduce the project team. I'm joined today by Andrew McCrae, Deputy Project Manager. Andrew will also be tonight's moderator and will monitor the chat box for questions and comments. I'm also joined by team members Kenny Turskak, Brian Bird, Maria Martin, and JJRC with the Department of Recreation. I also want to acknowledge the following elected officials and individuals in the audience. The Honorable Ingrid Harrison, at-large council member for City of Bowie, Joe Minor, the City of Bowie's Director of Planning and Development, with Prince George's County Public Schools, John Wooden, Planning and School Boundaries Analyst, and Elizabeth Chazen, CIP Officer. With Prince George's County Memorial Public Library, I have Kelsey Hughes. We also have from the MNCPPC leadership, Elizabeth Hewlett, Chair, Prince George's County Planning Board, and from Prince George's County Planning Department, Andre Green-Checkley, Director, Derek Berlage, Acting Deputy Director, and Kipling Reynolds, Division Chief, Community Planning Division. I'm sorry if I didn't get to all of our elected officials. Thank you for coming. So for tonight's agenda, we'll first present a quick overview of the project, followed by a more detailed look at the findings regarding public facilities. And then we will roll into our question and answer portion of the meeting. Now let's take a look at the schedule. The County Council formally initiated the master plan process on February 18th, 2020, and then it was publicly kicked off on June 13th. Since then, the project team has worked with a consultant and the community and stakeholders to produce an existing conditions report, which is currently online for public comment. In the coming months, we will continue our community chat series covering each of the plan elements. And then we will prepare a playbook of strategies that addresses many of the challenges and opportunities identified in order to inform a draft master plan that will be presented to the public next year. We will then continue through the legislative process with an anticipated planning board date in December 2021 and district council approval in spring 2022. The master plan area is in the northeast portion of the county. It is southwest of Laurel, west of Maryland 193, north of Upper Marlboro, and abuts the Patuxent River to the east. It includes the City of Bowie and portions of Mitchellville and Collington. This master plan will primarily focus on the future of existing commercial and employment areas, such as the Bowie Local Town Center, Bowie State University, Bowie State Mark Station Campus Center, Old Town Bowie, and the Collington Trade Zone. It will also focus on 3 corridors, Maryland 197, Maryland 450, and US 301, Maryland 3. Master Plan Overview. The 2 main goals of the Bowie, Mitchellville, and Vicinity Master Plan are to advance the policies outlined in the county's general plan, Plan 2035, and to provide specific implementable strategies to meet the vision of the plan area. The vision will be crafted with input from the community and other stakeholders to create a long-term plan for this area of the county. Once approved, it will replace the 2006 Bowie and Vicinity Master Plan and the 2010 Bowie State Mark Station Sector Plan. Each master plan is made up of 8 plan elements: economic prosperity, housing and neighborhoods, land use, transportation mobility, community, heritage, culture and design, healthy communities, public facilities, and natural environment. Today, we will take a closer look at public facilities. Now I'll pass it to Brian to hear specifically about this topic.
Hello, everyone. So we're specifically looking at public facilities today. The report looked at 5 types of public facilities, including libraries and community centers, hospitals, fire and emergency services, police, and schools. And this by no means is an exhaustive list, but is what the report looked at. So there are for libraries and community centers, there are 2 libraries within the planning area, which include Bowie and South Bowie branches. The city of Bowie has the best access to libraries, and most of the city can access a library within 10 minutes by bike. Communities outside of the city of Bowie have good access to libraries by car. We see similar accessibility with the 3 community centers, which include Huntington, Bowie, and South Bowie in the planning area. Most residents in the planning area are within a 10-minute bike ride of a community center, and nearly all residents are within a 10-minute car ride of the community centers. This is by design. Community centers are in areas where there's a critical mass of population, such as the city of Bowie. Based on the report, city of Bowie has the best accessibility to libraries and community centers. There's a growing disparity between older and newer neighborhood library and community facility access. And we looked at hospitals. There are no full-service hospitals located within the master plan area. However, the Bowie Health Clinic, which includes the University of Maryland Bowie Health Campus in the Bowie Local Town Center, is able to provide routine care and has a small emergency room, and a nearby Largo UMD hospital is underway. Nearly all of the residents of the master plan area reside within the 20-minute threshold that is the national average for hospital access in suburban areas. We also looked at fire and emergency management and services and police. The Prince George's County Fire EMS Department has set a maximum of 5 minutes as the target time for emergency service to arrive to non-residential areas. Prince George's County strives to ensure that all of the residential emergency services arrive within a maximum of 7 minutes. As with community centers and libraries, we find that the city of Bowie is better covered with these 4 and 7 minute travel areas than areas outside the city of Bowie in the master plan. As a result of this discrepancy, the fire department has identified 3 potential sites for new fire stations within the master plan area, all 3 in the Church Road corridor. The city of Bowie is better covered by police beats, with large sections of the master plan area in the Church Road corridor and east of US 301 poorly covered by these police beats. We also looked at schools. Between 2010 and 2018, the utilization of public schools in Prince George's County have diverged, with fewer schools within Prince George's County public schools target utilization range of 80 to 95% of state-rated capacity. However, except for 3 elementary schools, including High Bridge, Whitehall, and Glendale, 1 middle school, Thomas Johnson, and 1 high school, Charles Herbert Flowers, all other schools in Bowie, Mitchellville, and vicinity are either within PGCPS's target utilization range of 85 to 100% or below 85%. Underutilized elementary schools are Glendale. A utilization rate below 85% is not considered desirable as it reflects under-enrollment and a suboptimal allocation of resources. This indicates that there is a substantial opportunity to balance utilization rates across elementary schools within the master plan area. PGCPS is undertaking a comprehensive boundary study to address these. Household growth, which may increase little schools' demand as the population age, is only projected at 362 households. So now we're going to go to our specific questions. This is a very casual community chat. So we're essentially just going to go through a series of questions, and by all means, feel free to unmute your mic and speak up, or you can also speak into the, you can write into the community chat. But we are really curious, what public facilities, libraries, or communities do you use and why? Okay, go for it, Tamika.
All right, so we're over here in the S section, so we use the Bowie Library, and we sometimes use the community center because they're convenient. But I will say that, as you mentioned earlier, there is that growing disparity. When I go to the South Bowie Community Center, it is significantly different. But those are facilities that I use, and that's why. Okay.
And how has that experience been for you, Tamika?
It's been really good. My family really enjoys the library. They, as you know, they renovated it a couple years ago, and so the kids love it. It's very inviting. We do have the high school kids kind of camping out there after school, or we did before the pandemic, and so they shifted to Chick-fil-A once that opened up. But I think that if we had a really inviting community center, that would be another option for them. The one over here is really old and tiny, and so I think they avoid it unless they're going in there to, you know, play games or hang out. They don't really go in there at all. They usually hang out in the playground, on the playground for the little ones, which is also a problem.
Uh-huh. And which is the which one you're referring to that's small and not very user friendly?
The community center right here on Superior.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
Did anyone else have any comments? It's very much a casual chat.
I'm not seeing anything in the chat box at this moment, Brian.
Okay. Thank you, Andrew. Okay, we can
Hold on, give me a second. Give me a second. I just got something. There's a comment from Millie Hall. Her comment says, both libraries in Bowie both are pretty close. We don't have a community center on Church Road. So that was the comment in the chat box. I'm not sure if anyone wanted to respond to that from the team or anything. Any comments? Well, anyway, Miller, we thank you for that. We completely understand. I have another comment as well from Ingrid Harrison. Councilwoman Ingrid Harrison, excuse me. The comment is the Huntington Community Center is used a lot by seniors. So that's one of the additional comments as far as the Huntington Community Center up and around. Is that Old Town Bowie? So there's a heavy senior population that utilize that community center. Thank you for that comment as well, Ingrid.
Yes, thank you. How about we move to question number 2, Thomas?
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so do you feel that you have adequate access to libraries and community centers within the planning area? Anyone curious to address that question? And I guess the second half of that is, if walkability is improved in your area, would you be interested in walking or bicycling to local public facilities such as libraries or recreation centers? Any takers?
And remember, you can comment by raising your hand. There's a raise your hand option at the top, and then there's the comment box as well, the chat box. So feel free to comment either way.
Okay.
I don't want to keep commenting, but
feel free.
Since no one else is, so for me, for our family, we do feel like we have adequate access to libraries and community centers, and the sidewalks. There are no sidewalks on our street, but there are sidewalks and paths that we can bike and walk to those facilities as well. So they're good. And I want to say they put a bike rack up by the library for us to lock our bikes up. So for us, it's pretty good.
Okay. Tamika, I'd be curious, and sorry if you don't want me to ask you any more questions, but I'd be curious to know, what is your experience when you're able to walk or bike to those community centers?
Well, it's, you know, I think I enjoy it more than the kids. It's not far, but it's a little long walk. And then we can go to the farmers market is there on Sundays. And when the track is open, the Bowie High School track, I can go back there and do some running and run home. So it's it really is right where we are. But if I want to go shopping, like food shopping or anything else, it gets a little dicey, though. That I know that's not the question on the table.
No, but these are great details. We really appreciate the feedback. Dicey meaning you feel unsafe, meaning it's not a pleasant experience.
Right. So we could walk to the Giant and the TJ Maxx, and we have. It's just that there aren't a lot of people who do walk. They might walk to the Readers, but they don't cross 450. And so cars aren't used to pedestrians. So they turn the corner. They make that right-hand turn pretty fast if you're not paying attention. And if you have a stroller or a little one who doesn't move as quickly, you know, it can get pretty dangerous. So we don't do that anymore just because we didn't feel safe doing it.
And like I said, if you don't want to answer, but just out of curiosity, do you feel like there's something that could be done to those sidewalks or those areas that would make you feel safer and maybe make cars notice you more?
Yeah, I think they have good, the signage is good. They have the buttons
Yeah.
that you can push. The light could probably be a little slower so that people who are with little ones can
Okay.
get across, or people who are older and they move a little slower. But yeah, just I think because so few people walk, they're not paying as much attention.
Of course, yeah. Okay, well, yeah, thank you. This is great feedback for sure. Andrew, did you want to share those comments that we received in the chat box?
Give me 1 second. Oh, okay, here's a comment again from Councilwoman Ingrid Harris. The comment is, I agree, the walkability could be better between Free State and Marketplace. So that's another comment talking about walkability and access between Free State and Marketplace.
Andrew, if you don't mind, I did want to share my screen to show a different item. Are you guys able to see the map that I have up?
Not yet.
No? Okay.
No, we can just see all the participants right now.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, so just taking a look at the libraries. You had mentioned that there isn't a library.
Can you zoom in, Thomas?
Sure.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
Ooh, not sure what that's doing. Oh. I'm not sure what's happening with that, but it is flashing. Do you guys see that?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Well, it's okay, Thomas.
Yeah. But the point is the walk shed and the drive shed from the libraries to most of the planning area, there is some lack of coverage there.
Okay. Yeah, and we will be addressing, if anyone's interested, we do have, you can access the report. We'll share that information later on in the presentation. There are some really great maps that talk about public facilities within the planning area. Were there any other comments we wanted to address in the chat box, Andrew?
I don't see any comments at this time, nor do I see any hands raised. So you feel free to move on to the next question.
Yeah, thank you, Tamika, and thank you, Ingrid, for participating on that one. Question number 3, Thomas. So this is a much more general question, and this was kind of how the report, the existing conditions report, when it framed public facilities, one of the 8 elements we looked at. This was kind of the big overarching question. Does Bowie Mitchellville and vicinity have the public facilities needed to serve you and the current population? And so I don't know if anyone's curious to address that, if there's anything else, if they feel that it serves them, or maybe it sounds like Tamika had mentioned earlier on that maybe a newer community facility closer to her home would be nice. I don't know if anyone else had any thoughts. Okay, here we have a chat comment.
I got it. The comment is the biggest need I hear from the residents is another high school.
Okay.
So there's a desire to have another high school in the area, the planning area.
Yes, and we actually do have some specific high school or some specific school questions we'll address in a little bit as well.
And then
yes, more high schools.
Yeah. Oh, yes, more high schools. And then I see someone has their hand raised as well. I want to give them a chance to respond. I see Elizabeth Chason. I believe I said that correct. If not, please correct me. Feel free to unmute your mic.
Hi, this is Elizabeth Chason from PGCPS. And just point of clarification, do you mean a high school in addition to Bowie High School? A second high school?
If I don't know if everyone heard Miss Elizabeth Chason. Okay, I see a few people responding in the chat. I see yes, a second high school.
Okay.
So that's what I'm seeing.
Okay.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Do we have any other comments at this time or any other? Elizabeth, did you still mean to have your hand raised? If not, feel free to put it down virtually.
All right, so
thank you.
So I would definitely co-sign the need for a second high school. And I know you guys mentioned the underutilization rate. I think it has something to do with how the schools are maintained, right? And then sort of the academics of the schools, because there are plenty of kids in Bowie who are going to private schools because the local schools are not where they need them to be. And so, for instance, my little one goes to Tulip Grove, and it had a underutilization rate. And then when they got the new facility, enrollment ticked up. And so I think part of it is how the schools are maintained, right? So it's definitely that second high school, and then looking at the current high school to see what we can do to bring it up to standards.
Okay. Thank you, Tamika. Yes, and just FYI, Andrew did share a link to the existing conditions report within the chat, so feel free to check that out at your pleasure, at your leisure. It does have some great charts and stuff about the data that they have for utilization rates for the high schools and for all the schools in the planning area. And it looks like we got several more comments about, yes, there's definitely a need for another high school. Did anyone else have any other thoughts in regards to this question? Was there any other facilities that anyone felt were needed to serve us and the current population? Okay. Andrew or Thomas, can we move to question 4? Okay, so do you face challenges finding conveniently located healthcare services? Any thoughts? Does anyone have any comments on that question as far as their experience living in Prince George's County? No takers? Okay.
All right. So for our family, as far as care, like making sure we have dentists and primary care physicians, those we have plenty. And then for sort of minor things, we have the Bowie emergency room and things like that. But if there's something serious, there's nothing. We have to go to Annapolis. We have to go somewhere else. And you know, my husband's a firefighter, and so you know, those minutes, those seconds, those all count. And so not having a hospital close enough or nearby is especially as our population continues to age, is troubling.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Tamika. Just out of curiosity, how far would you say is the drive to the nearest hospital that you feel would adequately meet those needs that you suggested?
So the one we use is we go to Annapolis, and so I don't know, it's a 25 minute drive.
Oh, wow, okay.
So that's, you know, that's too far in a true emergency.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, definitely. It looks like there were a couple comments in the chat box. Andrew, did you want to address those?
Yes, I mean, it's one comment by Millie Hall. It says, I agree with Tamika. So it's just someone in agreement with the comments regarding access to healthcare services and facilities in the planning area.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Does anyone else face challenges finding conveniently located healthcare services? Any other comments, thoughts? Okay. Thomas, how about we move to question number 5? Okay, so question number 5, do you feel that your area is adequately served by fire EMS services? If not, where do you think fire stations EMS are needed? Any takers on this question? There was a great map in the existing conditions report that kind of breaks down those 4 to 7 minute travel times. So if anyone's interested, feel free to check that out.
I can try and bring it up again, I'm afraid.
No, it's okay, Andrew.
Okay.
As I mentioned earlier, I think the report is very detailed, and there is a great, the public facilities section is actually predominantly maps, lots of great maps that show all these different facilities within Prince George's County are within the planning area, and really kind of reveal the accessibility. Any takers? Question number 5. Okay,
I think I
looks
see
like we
someone
have
with a hand
yeah.
raised. Oh, I got it.
Yep.
So Millie Hall, I see you have your hand raised. Feel free to unmute your mic and respond to the question.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can,
Yes,
Millie.
ma'am.
Okay, we do have several fire stations near, but we had an accident in front of our community once, and the Bowie firemen, they never showed up, and Glendale showed up, and we called in and followed up, and we asked why no one showed up. The car actually flipped over. It was a couple of young kids, and they told us that they were serving real emergencies. Thank you.
Thank
Hey,
you,
Millie, I have one quick follow-up question.
Mm-hmm.
Where's your property located or your neighborhood located?
It's on Church Road, right at Woodmore Highlands.
Got it. Thank you.
Hmm?
Any other takers on question number 5? Do you feel the area is adequately served by fire EMS services? Millie,
Sorry.
no, just real quick, Millie, did you still have another question, Millie, or thank you.
Put my hand down.
Yeah, thank you. Who was speaking? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's Tamika again. I'm sorry.
Hey, Tamika. No, it's no apologies. No, this is great information. Thank you for all your participation. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
The thing about, so we're in the S section, so we have the fire station right across 450. So I think we're good. The question that I have is about, because it's a volunteer fire department that we have here in the city. And so I don't know what the county or the city's thoughts are, and maybe Councilmember Harrison could talk to us a little bit about professionalizing the fire department. I don't know that we need to, but I don't want to wait until it's too late to figure out that we need to professionalize our fire department. Not that our volunteers don't do a great job, but there's always room for improvement.
Right. And Tamika, you make a good point, and I'll certainly address that with the Public Safety Committee.
Yeah, thank you, Tamika. That was a good comment. Any other takers on question number 5? Okay, we can move to question number 6. Thank you, Thomas. How about, do you feel the area is adequately served by police services? If not, where do you think police presence is needed? Very similar to question 5, but specifically looking at police instead of fire. Any thoughts?
So for us here in the S section, I think we're okay. We don't have too many issues getting responses from the police department. I think what we're seeing kind of across the city is we only see them when something has gone wrong, and it would be great to see them kind of, we don't have a lot of sidewalks to walk the beats, but
Yeah.
in ways to interact with them more casually so that we can really build that community relationship, because it's very difficult to do that when we only see them in crisis.
No, that's a great comment. That's really good. Yeah, for sure.
And can I just, and this is Ingrid Harrison,
Yeah.
Mika, I've been talking to Chief Neske, and that's certainly something that they do, and they're working on even more, because they definitely are all about community policing. So if you have any ideas on, what you see they could be doing in that regard, please let me know, and I'll share that with them.
All right. Thank you, Councilmember Harrison.
Thank you both. Any other participants would like to address this question? Any thoughts? Okay. How about question number 7? Lucky number 7, Thomas. Ooh, okay, it's a good one. Do you face challenges safely arriving to school with the existing transportation network? Any takers? I guess none of us are actually going to school, right?
Yeah.
Right, well, trapped at home. I will say that getting the little ones off to the elementary schools on the buses, as you all have probably aware, sometimes the buses are late and sometimes they don't have enough drivers, and so they're waiting, and especially in the wintertime. So it does get it gets tricky. And so there have been a few times where we've just been like, okay, well, we just got to go home and get in the car, and then we'll all start caravanning to school. But I think that as far as this, when they do arrive, they drive safely, but it takes them some time to get there on occasion.
Do you have any thoughts on why that might be, Tamika, or have you talked to the bus driver, or do you know why do you think they would be late?
Right. I think what's been happening is there's a shortage of consistent drivers, and so sometimes they are moving folks around to make up for people calling in, and so the bus driver doesn't know the route, or they go to the wrong place, or they don't know the schedule, and so especially when we have for the little ones, the kindergartners, the first graders who can't really be like, we're going the wrong way, it can be problematic.
And on average, how long do you think it actually takes for your children to get to school on the bus? Just out of curiosity.
Right. So from here to Tulip Grove, it usually takes about 10 or 15 minutes when everyone's moving around and everyone's going to work and school. So the distance, it's not the travel time. It's just, I think it's just the consistency and availability of drivers.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I was gonna just talk about a comment that was just made in the chat box by Elizabeth Chasen. I believe I'm saying that right. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But the comment goes, there is a shortage of bus drivers nationwide. So I think that kind of gets to the point of maybe some of it relates to a shortage of bus drivers interfering with the infrequent times of children getting to school. Okay.
Thank you, Andrew.
No problem. Thank you.
Any other individuals like to address question number 7? Okay, we can move on to question number 8. I guess we didn't have one. That's okay. So real quick, did anyone have any general questions related to public facilities or anything that's been talked about today? Just before we...
So let me ask you what your next steps are, right? Because one of the things we kind of wrestle with in Bowie is the perception of our lack of a voice at the county level. And so what do you do with our comments? Are these just suggestions, or are these things that you guys are looking to implement? What are the next steps for you?
Okay, yeah, that's a great question. I'll let the project manager, Thomas, address that. Thomas, can you speak to that, please? Thomas, are you there?
Thomas may have stepped away. In his absence, I will take a stab at it.
I'm here.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
I was muted.
Yeah, thank you,
sorry.
Thomas.
No, I was just saying that we're in the information gathering phase. We've received a lot of input so far. We're getting comments on our existing conditions report. And basically, we will gather all that information, categorize it, and take a look and analyze it. And it will feed into the playbook of strategies, which will then feed into the staff draft of the master plan, which will then have its own public comment period. But we take, the feedback that we're receiving very seriously, and it will be considered and discussed as part of the master plan process.
And Tamika, I had a question for you. How did you find out about tonight's event? Because we're always looking for other ways, other mediums to connect with, Prince George's County residents.
I am trying to remember. I don't know if I saw it on Facebook. I can't remember where I saw it, but maybe somebody sent it to me because I did see that I could comment on the document, and then I signed up for a bunch of the draft sessions. But yeah, so that's great to hear that that's going to be incorporated, because what I don't want, and I think many of the residents don't want, is to get to the end of this process and find out that the suggestions that we talked about were discarded, but you say you talked to all of us and you did all these things, so it makes it look like we were all included in the process. So we just want to make sure that we are heard.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. I mean, was there any other comments you want to provide tonight? We are taking notes, and this is a meeting that's being recorded. So if you have anything else you'd like to bring up or talk about in reference to public facilities, by all means.
I don't want to talk, and I feel like
Okay.
I've been talking too much.
Okay, no, but we do really appreciate the participation, and I will say that we do have weekly office hours as well. If you would like to talk specifically with the project team more in a one-on-one environment. So if you're interested, we can share that information with you as well.
That would be great. Yeah, I would love to do that.
Okay, great. Yeah, I don't know if Thomas or Andrew can speak to that in the upcoming slides. Thomas, would you like to continue with the PowerPoint then?
Sure. If we don't
Okay,
have
thank
any
you.
other comments, I'm happy to. Okay. Well, thank you. Quick recap. On September 16th, we held our draft existing conditions report presentation. The presentation provided an overview of the report, and then we did form small discussion groups to talk about the challenges and opportunities for the plan area. You can watch the presentation on our website at the link on the PowerPoint screen. Oops, sorry. Sorry. Okay. Sorry, I'm having some difficulty. There we go. Okay. And also, please note that the full report is currently on our website for public and agency comment. You can provide comments until September 30th. You can place comments directly on the report using our online tool called Conveo, and you can also submit comments by email. The website also allows you to download the report in PDF format. However, you can only do it by section because the size of it is just too big. Looking over some of our upcoming events, we do have two types of upcoming events: the series of community chats, which we've kicked off tonight, and then we'll have a virtual presentation about the playbook of strategies. We'll have a total of 8 chats, one for each plan element. Our next chat is scheduled for Thursday on the 24th, and the focus will be land use. Each chat lasts approximately 1 hour. These informal chats offer a good chance to ask questions regarding the topic that most interests you. And you can register on our website where the full schedule is posted. And then a quick look at the playbook of strategies. We are having a public presentation. We'll also have a comment period, but this is tentatively scheduled for early mid-November. The playbook of strategies is a document that reviews the data and feedback received from the community and creates urban design schemes to meet the challenges at key nodes and tries to address some of the issues for each of the elements. And then lastly, or if you haven't already, we ask everyone to take 10 minutes to complete their 2020 census form online or by phone. Your response to the census will help shape the future of your community and direct federal funds for schools, roads, and other public services over the next 10 years. And you can visit my2020census.gov or call 844-330-2020. And time is definitely running out on that.
Real quick, Thomas. Yes? Thomas. It looks like Andrew shared a bunch of links. I don't know if you want to speak to those, Andrew, just so the audience knows what the different links were.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, I can speak to that quickly. So I shared a couple links in the chat. Of those links include it's the draft existing conditions report. There's a video that goes along with the report, the document, which we want you to comment on. So definitely take some time out to watch the video and to comment on the report. Additionally, I dropped a link to our virtual office hours. So feel free to sign up for a time to meet with the project team. Lastly, I dropped a link to the project website, which contains all of this information which we covered today. So feel free to visit our website and sign up to subscribe to our project so you can stay updated on all the upcoming events. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew. Sorry about that, Thomas, but thank you.
Oh, no problem. And also just note that today's presentation and Q&A will also be posted on our website. And you can feel free to contact me or the project team. Here's my email and also the website that Andrew just shared. All right.
Thank you, Andrew. And Thomas.
Yeah.
So were there any other questions real quick from anyone in the audience? Okay.
That's it. Well, I appreciate everyone for coming. I think this was a good experience for all of us, and we gathered a lot of good feedback. And I hope you guys register for our next community chat. Thank you.
And Thomas, that's on Thursday from 6 to 7, right? Thursday, September 24th. 24th from 6 to 7.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. This is really helpful.
Thank
Great.
you. Thank you for your participation, Tamika.